So, it's Black Sunday and I'm wearing white. At least I'm wearing a black belt. Funny thing is, this gi is actually just a hair small for me. It's a size 5. I normally wear a size 6. The reason the sleeves are cut off is because I'm a macho American, and also because it's a size 5, and the sleeves literally only came up to my elbow. I believe this may have actually been the very first gi that I ever had. Nothing on it. Used to have a Master's Self-Defense patch here, but took that off because the school that I went to actually broke free, went independent from them sometime during my training there. So anyway, no affiliation now, and there you go. So, what I wanted to talk to you about was the idea of being creative. You see, creativity is kind of unique to people. We have certainly seen animals act on whimsy, but we have seen really no other species act with any sort of natural creativity, creating artifacts and art and whatnot. Yes, we see tool use, but that's a matter of function. We see whimsy, it's play, but to create lasting things like art, music, and paintings and sonnets and books and all those things, and you may cite the elephant that can paint, or you may cite Coco the gorilla that can do some cool things, but all those are trained behaviors. Whereas with humans, that idea to create seems to be something that, while it may be learned, it seems at this point in our evolution somewhat natural. And it's kind of unique, and it's what gave us, Black Sabbath and Star Wars and Van Gogh and Doctor Who and all the other very, very cool stuff that's out there. And I want you to understand that the idea of creativity is very important to society at large and to your development as a human being. See, there's a theory out there, there's a quote, and I'm not sure who it's by, but they say that everybody is born an artist until society or school beats it out of them or whatever. And to a point it's true. We all grew up drawing, writing, play acting, whatever it is, creating. We all grew up creating. We want to create the worlds that we live in. We all want to make something more of the world that we live in. The idea of the fantasies inside of our heads, the ideas of what could be instead of what is. It's this fanciful idea that, maybe there's more to life than just what, the everyday stuff that we experience. And my cat is attacking the ironing cord. But the idea is very, very profound, in fact, because we never had a soundtrack to life until music happened. We never had more to aspire to until we started telling stories. There's always something a little bit more. Do you realize how much technology has been created because an artist had an idea for something sci-fi, and a scientist grew up looking at that, or a future scientist grew up looking at that going, I bet I can make that happen, and they did. There's so much stuff that we have thanks to science fiction, a very common precursor to science fact. It's very, very, very cool. And, alright, stop fighting. Sabi is growing up to be a beast. But the idea is so very cool that we can create the world that we live in. You realize that the architecture that surrounds us comes from human imagination. Some of it comes from science, fact, and engineering and all that, but it also comes from human imagination. I recently made friends with a dude over in Singapore who has is an art teacher, and he's actually kind of the inspiration for this. And he had a martial arts question, and I answered it for him. And I mentioned that I like to draw a little bit, and he showed me some of his artwork. And he's got a YouTube channel. You can go check it out. I'll annotate it. And he's really quite good. And the idea, just the fact that we can reproduce life and ideas down on paper in two-dimensional form, but really I don't necessarily know that much about quantum physics, but whatever dimension the mind lays on, in that form, it's inspiring. I spent much of my childhood imagining futures for myself, for my friends, for my family, and I'm afraid in adulthood I've somewhat lost some of that, and I'm getting back to it here and there. But it's a shame to live only in reality, because reality really is so much more, can be so much more than it is. And this is why I let so many fanciful fantasies inspire me for even my own training, because quite honestly, the reality of comic books and cartoons and action movies is far more inspiring, far more inspiring than the reality of war and rescue workers, though EMS workers, the emergency services workers, are among my most favoritist people. Very bold and brave people who are sorely underpaid. But it is amazing to me that we could conceive of higher technology, magic, alternate paths and realities, all of these things, superheroes. Isn't that cool? So your homework this week, and I guess today is a little bit shorter for a Black Sunday sermon, but your homework for this week, what I want you to think about is, if you could create your own reality, if you could be the God of your own reality, what would you create? How would you want the world to work? What kind of heroes would you want it to revolve around? What kind of worker bees would you want it to revolve around? What would your mundane people look like? What would your elite and aspiring people look like? What would the dregs of your society look like? Explore, and create. Please be very creative. And I tell you, I have some creative stuff for you in the near future, but not right now. It's coming, but not right now. I will talk to you folks later. Good journey.